And we are live. Let me adjust my camera real quick just to make sure that it's working okay. What is up, everybody? Thank you guys so much for stopping by for this very much unplanned Q&A. I only released that I was, or announced that I was going to be doing this a few hours ago. Just kind of a spur of the moment thing. So for everybody that is in here, thank you so much for stopping by. I feel like I say this every single time I do one of these live streams, but it feels like forever since the last one because it has been forever since the last one. I promise I'm going to try to start doing these a lot more consistently. I just had a lot of stuff going on. I was very preoccupied, and yeah, just long story short, things are better now. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to just have a ball, have a great time answering questions with you guys, hanging out with you guys. There are a few people in here already, so let me go ahead and address the comments. The View with Drew. Hey everyone, what's up? Drew, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Always in these live streams, always showing support. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Also, I meant to ask you, do you have a YouTube channel? Do you actually post content on it? Because The View with Drew is like a great name for a YouTube channel, a great name for like a live show. But again, thank you so much for stopping by. Zach is in here. What's up, man? He says, Jaren, what's the last movie you watched, and what are your thoughts on it? So, the last movie I watched is the live action Little Mermaid. I went to an early screening of it last night, and without spoiling too much because the embargo hasn't released on it yet, I must say I was pleasantly surprised with the movie. If you know me, you know that I am not a huge fan of the live action Disney remakes whatsoever. I think there are a few good ones in the mix, namely The Jungle Book, directed by Jon Favreau. Really, that's about it. I just feel like there's a quality about them that it strips away the magic when you take away the animation. I don't feel like everything needs to be repurposed for live action just for the sake of being live action. I understand the appeal of trying to come across to new audiences who didn't get to see the animated films when they originally came out, but when I was a kid growing up, those animated films were already years old, and I still loved watching those movies. I grew up on them. They were my childhood. And I feel like when you strip away the animation, you're also stripping away all of the creativity and the wonder and the magic that surrounds it. Good example is The Lion King from 2018 or 2019. It just felt bland. It felt emotionless. Yeah, all the same beats were there story wise, but it didn't have the same effect because when you're just staring at live action, but really just CG, realistic animals, it's not like they can have a lot of expressions. It's not like they can really emote. The voice acting was fine, but it didn't do anything special. And so I've had an issue with that because, in my opinion, I'd rather see Disney branch out into new and original ideas than rehash content that they've already released. That being said, The Little Mermaid worked for me very much surprisingly. I didn't expect too much from the movie whatsoever. I expected Halle Bailey to give a pretty good performance, and I've got to say that she absolutely did. She was incredible. I said in my first reaction I posted on Twitter, I think I said it in my reaction I posted here on YouTube Shorts. She was hypnotizing. Her performance was great because not only does she have to sing a lot, but there's a period of the movie, obviously, if you know The Little Mermaid, to where she loses her voice. Therefore, she has to convey a lot of emotion with just her eyes and with the expressions on her face, with the lack of singing or dialogue. And she carried the movie so well, in my opinion. There was a great romance throughout. The chemistry between her and the actor who played Prince Eric was great. The new renditions of all the songs that we've come to love from the original classic were very well done. It wasn't perfect. There were a lot of issues when it comes to the underwater CG animation. It felt very in line with Aquaman, which take that as you will. I don't think Melissa McCarthy necessarily worked as Ursula, but I mean, all things considered, it was definitely one of the better live action movies. So that is the most recent new release that I've seen. I also saw White Men Can't Jump that comes out Friday on Hulu, another reboot. Also, another one that I surprisingly had a pretty good time with. I'll have more of my thoughts on that on the channel too, very soon, whenever the embargo releases. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to when it comes to new releases. I've been watching some older stuff too, here and there, but really just trying to stay on top of the new stuff that comes out. I had a screening invite for Fast X that I was supposed to go to on Monday, but unfortunately some things came up, so I had to miss that one. I say unfortunately, I'm not looking forward to the movie. So, yeah, I I'm gonna see it in the theater, possibly tomorrow, maybe Friday, because I'd like to post a review for it. But at this point, I'm just so exhausted with that franchise that it, I don't even look forward to going to see the movies anymore, and that's sad because there was a point to where I actually anticipated seeing those movies. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me with the movies I've watched recently. Scott Davis is in here. What's up, Scott? Thank you so much for joining. Hey, Jaren, what are your thoughts on the Dune 2 trailer? I thought it provided everything that we needed to get invested once again into this world and to get excited for the movie. It definitely seems like they're exploring much more of the romance between Zendaya and what I'm blanking on his name. Paul Atreides. Who is Paul Atreides? Why can I not? Timothy Chalamet. My goodness. I love the way that they're expanding on that more. It definitely seems like it's going to be more adventurous. I'm curious to see how Austin Butler is going to play a role in the movie. I will say I'm not giving all the characters names because I'm not as well versed in the Dune lore as a lot of people are. This is very much my first introduction into this world, but um, I trust Denis Villeneuve. Everything he makes, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be excited for. I love the first Dune movie, so I can't wait to see how he expands on this. This one looks bigger in a lot of ways. It looks a lot more interesting from a character perspective. So, yeah, I'm very curious. I think the trailer was very well done. Gave us just enough to get excited. Alex Lopez. What's up, Alex? Thank you so much for joining. Hey, Jaren. Happy Wednesday to you, my friend. Happy Wednesday to you. Hump day. Feels great being on here talking live to you guys. Like I said, it's been a while. Feels good to be back. I hope you had a good day. I hope all of you guys had a good day. I had a pretty good day. I'm exhausted. I am very exhausted, but I still wanted to come on here and talk to you guys because this is one of my favorite things to do. I love just chit-chatting, talking movies, answering your questions. It's some of the most fun I have on YouTube. I may actually see The Flash this upcoming Monday. Wow, that's really cool. Any predictions on the movie? Predictions. First off, if you haven't seen it, it's one of my most anticipated movies of the year. If you haven't seen my most anticipated movies of the summer video, it was pretty high up on that list, but it's also just been one of my most anticipated of 2023. There's a lot to be excited for. When it comes to predictions, I try to stay away from predictions to a certain extent because I always want to go in and just see where the story takes me. I don't want to have preconceived notions that if it doesn't meet all of my expectations, it kind of makes my perspective or my opinion on it shift a bit. I will say I think it's pretty obvious that Ben Affleck's Batman is going to die at some point. Just from the cow that we see on the ground in the trailer, but also just knowing that Ben Affleck is not returning as the character any longer. Obviously, it's going to... Sorry if you heard that dinging. My phone's going off. Obviously, it's going to reset the DCU. Let me check this real quick. I don't want to have that keep going off throughout the video or throughout the stream. Okay, it should be okay now. Somebody's asking me how to join my live stream. Okay, but anyway, so I think just from the trailers, yes, I think Ben Affleck is dead. I think he's going to die in some way or another. It's going to reset things. My question is, how is Michael Keaton going to play a role in this movie? Is he going to die off as well? Is he going to sort of help them save the day, figure out the whole situation, and then sort of just go back to his world? Or the world's going to combine into one? There's a lot of possible outcomes. I'm really not sure what direction they're going to go. And I think that's what's exciting for me with this movie is that there are a lot of different outcomes, a lot of different possibilities for it. And it seems to be shaping up to be a movie that is going to bend expectations. And so, really, honestly, I'm just going to be there for the ride. I'm curious and excited to see what they do, how they pull it off. Yeah, we've only got a few more weeks, folks. It's coming up very fast. June is a stacked month. We've got the Boogeyman, we've got Across the Spider-Verse, we've got the Flash movie. It's a great time to be a movie fan. Cole Warner's movie and game changer chamber. Stuttering already come into play. Thank you so much for joining, my friend. Have you seen The Town 2010? Excellent movie starring Ben Affleck that was also directed by him. Yes, I have. Ben Affleck is just a great director. I think he is good at making simplistic stories shine and thrive, and he adds a lot of dynamic behind the camera that just makes it all exciting. It's a very grounded heist movie, but I think it's one of the better ones to date. You get all these characters that are very fleshed out. You understand their motives. It's not just strictly a heist movie. They all have their reasonings behind everything that they're doing and things that they're doing it for. I think the character work is good. Jeremy Renner's also good in the movie. Ben Affleck gives a great performance. Honestly, I probably would have, out of the movies that Ben Affleck has directed, the fact that he won a Best Picture Oscar for Argo, I would argue that The Town is better and that it would have been more deserving. It just, the year that it came out, there was no chance it was going to win. It was a stacked year in general. The movies that should have won definitely didn't. Instead, it went to The King's Speech. But yeah, overall, it's a very, very good movie, a satisfying movie. His newest movie, Air, I think is his best yet, though. He's a director that he's already a great actor, and he's established himself as a great actor. But still to this day, I think his style and his skill behind the camera is severely underrated. I don't think people appreciate his directing enough. So yeah, let's go on to the next question. Alex Lopez, have you seen Breaking Bad? What do you think of the show if you've seen it? Yes, I've seen Breaking Bad. It's arguably my favorite TV show of all time. If you see in the background here, how do I point to this? There we go. I've actually got a little art print of it, of Jesse and Walt in the background. It's masterful storytelling. Because it's presented as one thing to begin with, but I think as the show continues and goes on, the story sort of unravels, and what you thought about all the characters in the beginning, they turn out to be the complete opposite. Like, early on, Walter White is meant to be this sympathetic person who isn't a bad guy, but is just doing something he's doing something not morally right, but for a good reason. And Jesse Pinkman comes off as this guy who's just immature. He's a druggie. He's a mess. Doesn't know what to make of his life. All he can do is get into trouble. But as the story progresses, the roles sort of flip. And by the end, Jesse was actually my favorite character, and Walt is 100% the villain. It's just overall a story about people doing whatever it takes to make the best life for themselves and their families, no matter what that means sacrificing, no matter what position that means putting themselves in. And even the worst characters in the show are all motivated sort of by the same thing. And I think that's what makes it very interesting. It's layered. I think Vince Gilligan does a lot of risky things behind the camera, a lot of very unique things that still to this day I haven't seen replicated, not to the capacity, the same extent as Breaking Bad. But man, I love it. The character work, the filmmaking as a whole. It's one of the few shows that gets better with every season. And yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. The Movie Geek. What's up, man? Bernardo, good to see you in here. It's been a while, man. I'm glad you stopped by. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well, as always. Cole said, Cody Leach is a good movie reviewer. I recommend you check him out. He did a video on his top 100 favorite movies of all time. Check that out. Die Hard, John Wick 2, and Spider-Man 2 made that list. Cody Leach, I'm a big fan of him. I actually went to MegaCon in April to see the creator panel. Sean Chandler was there, 3C Films was there, Austin Burke was there, the Flick Pick was there, and so was Cody Leach. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a picture with him. I just missed out on that, but he's been somebody I've supported for a while. I've been keeping up with his content for a long time. I was rooting for him when he went full-time on YouTube, and he's definitely one of those people that is making his mark in a very crowded niche. And even though he makes some of the same similar content that the rest of us make, he always adds his own unique spin to it. And he's done a very good job at branding himself and putting himself out there in a unique way. Every time he posts a review, I've got to watch it, even if it's for a classic movie. And a lot of the reason I've been kind of motivated to start doing more classic stuff, and if you followed along with my community posts, I've asked you guys repeatedly if you'd be interested in seeing me do and cover older movies, is because I've seen him do it and I see how much fun he has with it. And I just think it'd be something to implement that would be fun for the channel. Just a blast from the past, a flashback, a rewind. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Cody Leach. I watched that video, the 100 favorite movies. His list is great. The fact that he published a video of that caliber, of that large of content, 100 favorite movies. I've been struggling to come up with my 100 favorite movies, and he's already made a video about it. That's very impressive. It's very well done, as all of his stuff is. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Cody Leach. Very big fan. If any of you guys are in here and you haven't seen him or checked his channel out, I would definitely suggest giving him a watch. Bernardo says, are you going to Fantastic Fest? Because I am. I want to. I really want to. I've never been to a film festival before. I've been conflicted on which one I need to go to first. Sundance, South by Southwest, Fantastic Fest. I saw that you were going. I know Sean Chandler goes. There's a few other people I know that have gone, and they say they loved it. As of right now, it is number one on my radar of festivals to go to. If I can somehow pull it off to go this year, I'd absolutely love to. Bernardo, I'd love to meet you if I could. That'd be awesome to attend screenings and watch some movies together. Just talk about them, have a discussion. We've been chatting online for, it feels like a couple years now, so it'd be fun to finally meet in person and talk it up in person. So if I can pull it off, that's a big if right now, but if I can somehow pull it off, I would love to come to Fantastic Fest. Drew says, what's your biggest movie hot take? I can make a video of this all on its own, honestly. I've got a lot of them. It depends on what you're talking about. Are you talking about just overall movies in general? Are you talking about the MCU? Are you talking about a certain character, a certain genre? I've had a few hot takes when it comes to the MCU that, for example, I think Iron Man 3 is incredible. I think it's a top half MCU movie. I think Thor Ragnarok is extremely overrated. I've also said that I like Avengers Age of Ultron better than the first Avengers movie. So there's a few MCU hot takes for you. Let's see. I think my biggest one that still gets me a lot of hate today, which I love it. I love it when people get so mad on the internet because somebody has a different opinion than them. But my biggest hot take would have to be that The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is my favorite Spider-Man movie. I also think it's the best Spider-Man movie, not including Into the Spider-Verse. That's a whole other category. Just in terms of live action, I think The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man movie. When it comes to the action sequences, when it comes to the score, the characterization of Peter and Gwen, their entire relationship, the arc that it comes to, the close that it comes to with the tragic death of Gwen Stacy, still breaks my heart to this day. I think Electro was a misunderstood, actually very well-developed villain that people just seem to overlook the actual purpose of his character. It's not a perfect movie, but it is by far my favorite of the Spider-Man movies. So I have other hot takes for sure. I would just have to think about it. I think at one point I actually sat down and I made a list. So maybe one day that'll be a video I put out there for you guys. I don't know if I'm ready to get flamed yet because I know there will be a lot of criticism in the comments for my list and for the things I have to say. But that's what I love. Hot takes, people get mad at them. I love to see when people have a severely different opinion on something that a majority of people feel the same way about. It's always interesting to me. Dimension Scott, what's up, man? Thank you so much for joining. He says, "Hey, Jaren, it's been a while since the last live stream." Yeah, I was saying in the beginning, I feel like I always start these off by saying it's been a long time because it's always a long time in between these streams. I want to do these more consistently. Honestly, if you'd want me to do one at least once a week, maybe once every other week, let me know what you guys are feeling down below in the comments because honestly, right now, especially with summertime coming in, people are getting out of school. They got more free time. I think it'd be fun to hop on here weekly if I can and just talk movies with you guys. I leave this open as an opportunity for you guys to ask me questions that you've always wanted to know, whether that's personal, whether it's movies, you want to talk about a specific movie news topic, whatever it is. I just love kind of leaving it open for you guys to guide the conversation. I come in here with no script, no outline, nothing. It's always just about you guys and what you want to talk about. And I love these, like I said. So if you guys want to see more of these from me, I'll make sure to bring them. Cometa? I hope I said that right. Rank the Guardians of the Galaxy's member. I need another drink, man. I've only been doing this for 21 minutes and my mouth is dry. Very good. Cometa says, rank the Guardians of the Galaxy members from worst to best. Okay, so I've been thinking about this list for a little bit. While I love all of the Guardians, I think I have my ranking pretty set. So I think in last place I would have to put Kraglin because he is the newest member of the Guardians, just based off of Volume 3. While he's got a few good character moments throughout, especially in Volume 3 where he's trying to figure out the arrow and he's got all of the stuff that, he's conflicted with. He's kind of feeling like he's afraid to do it because it was Yondu's thing and he doesn't know if he has the skill and the ability or if he's worthy to do it. But other than that, he was kind of sidelined in the movie. So for that reason, I'd have to put him in last place, even though I still enjoy his character. Following that, I would have to put Cosmo, if you're counting Cosmo as a Guardian. Again, Cosmo is a character that really didn't do anything at all in this movie, but the back and forth between her and Kraglin was funny. The running through line joke of "you're a bad dog," I thought that was very well executed and cute to add into the movie. But again, she just really didn't add anything too strongly to the narrative. After that, you know what? I'd have to go with Gamora. As much as I love Gamora in the first two Guardians movies and the Avengers movies that she was in, just because of everything that happened in Endgame to where she's now a different timeline Gamora and she's not up to speed with the current Guardians and where they're at, and she doesn't remember anything about her and Peter's romance and their relationship beforehand, she again just felt sort of cast aside because she wasn't as emotionally involved with what was going on throughout the entire movie. In fact, there was a period of time to where she just sort of stayed on the ship. So I would have to put her right after Cosmo. Let's see. Then it gets interesting. Who would I pick next? Okay, so next I'm going to have to go with Groot. Groot had a few good moments throughout. He did. I love his connection with the rest of the team. Every time he says, "I am Groot," it just makes my heart happy. At the end, when he says, "I love you guys," it was sort of a subtle hint that now we're finally a part of the team and we finally understand what he's saying. Those moments were good. The moment to where he's tag teaming with Star-Lord. when they're in circles shooting the guns, that was cool. But overall, it's hard to put him any higher just because he doesn't have a lot of depth as a character. Um, he's been there with them all along. He's had a lot of different evolutions and a lot of different changes, but I would say I'd have to put him at that position. Um, okay. So we got Drax, we got Mantis, we got Nebula, we got Star-Lord, and we got Rocket. Okay, next I would have to go with Drax. Drax is a lovable character. I think he did a lot of great things in this movie, but he's also, for the big part, a comedic relief. And while he had some emotional moments, while he definitely helped and served a purpose in the story, that's just where I would have to put him. Right above him, I would put Mantis for a lot of the same reasons. She has a lot of that emotional pull to her character, and she is heavily involved with the Guardians in their journey up to this point, but there are just simply characters that I enjoyed more. Um, so then my top three, Nebula. I'd have to go with Nebula. I think this is by far the best showing of her character. She has the most characterization. I cared for her the most here in this movie than I have in any of the previous movies. She gave and delivered a lot of lines that really tugged at the heartstrings, especially in the end when she's talking to Drax and she says that he was not meant to be a destroyer. He was meant to be a dad. She really, really developed in a very special way in this movie. She also had just a lot of great banter. She's somebody who can be emotional. She can be humorous. She fits the mold of the Guardians very well, and I'd like to see how she's evolved over the past few movies. So I'd put her there. Runner up, Star-Lord, Peter Quill. He is the leader of the Guardians. Uh, it's what can you not say about Star-Lord? He's always there for his team when he needs them. He goes through a lot of ups and downs through this movie, struggling with the idea that Gamora doesn't remember their romance. He doesn't remember that they were in love, but he's also willing to put all of that aside to save his friend. He had a lot of great character moments in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but ultimately, I think the best one is Rocket, and that's for obvious reasons. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was marketed to be Rocket's movie. He definitely is the forefront. He takes the main stage with his character here. The entire plot of the movie is the Guardians going to save their friend because Rocket is in severe pain. He's going through major turmoil. His past is coming back to haunt him once again. All of the flashbacks we got with his character to see where he came from that led to where he is now. It was all very well done. And I think over the course of these movies, he's probably developed the most. And slowly we've gotten a deeper and deeper peek inside of how he feels, how he operates, what he thinks, and the way he perceives the world. And this movie, it just came full circle. And I think the development of his character was very well done in this movie. So there you go. I rambled for a while, but that is my ranking of the Guardians of the Galaxies from worst to best. Network 98. Hey, Jaren, been a while, but do you remember me? Of course I do, Network 98. Thank you so much for stopping by once again. It's good to see you. Like I said, it's been a while since the last live stream, but I never forget the main crew. You guys are always in here repping. I appreciate you stopping by. You talk to Chris from Filmstock at all? Yes, so we talk pretty often. We text sometimes, but we also see each other at most of our screenings that we go to. So we both live in Atlanta. We both go to the same early screening. So typically we'll sit together. We'll see each other there. Chris is a great dude. We've known each other for, I feel like 3 years now. We've done some live streams together. We've done some collaborative videos together. It's always fun talking to Chris. He's blown up in the past few years, past year or so, really. And all the success is warranted. All the success is very justified, and he's earned every bit of it. I can't wait to see him continue to crush it. I wish nothing but the best for Chris. So yeah, I talked to Chris. Favorite Funko Pop you have in your collection? Let me get another drink of water first. So, favorite Funko Pop I have in my collection. That's a tough one. Obviously, you don't see a lot of what I have right here. Um, I moved recently, so what? Just wait 1 second. 1 second. There we go. Sorry, my camera cuts out. Um, yeah, that's a hard one. I'd say right here, it's my Walter White Funko Pop. So out of all the ones that are in my background, it's the Walter White. I think that's a very cool one. I paid like $80 for this thing, but it was worth it. Um, Also got the Chase Joker here. And then behind me, there's Armored Batman, which he's kind of blurry, but you can still see him there. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever thought about what my favorite one is because I've got a lot of Funko Pops that I really enjoy. Um, I typically only pick up the ones that I really like. So it's a tough competition. I've got some Black Panther ones over here. I've got T'Challa on his throne. I've got the Black Panther comic book cover one, which is very cool. I don't know. That's like asking to pick a favorite child. Hayden TUA, yo, what's up? Yo, what's your favorite video game? So I'm boring when it comes to video games, guys. I've tried to get into it more and more. I have an Xbox Series X. I have a Nintendo Switch. At one point, I had a PlayStation 5, but I sold it. And that's because I don't play video games a lot. But when I do, like I said, I'm boring. I play the sports video games. I play Madden and 2K. Those are my mainstays. Those are what I always go to. When it comes to Nintendo Switch, I've been playing a little bit of Super Smash Bros. And they also have, when you get a Switch, the online membership comes with some simulators. So I've got an NES simulator on there. I've got a Game Boy simulator on there. So I play a lot of the classic Mario and Donkey Kong and stuff like that. Of course, Mario Kart. Um, yeah, I'm a noob gamer. But yeah, so there's some of them. Like I said, I'm not a huge gamer, so I'm not the best person to go to for recommendations or anything like that. Have you played high school basketball? Nope. Never been on an organized sports team in my life. I will say, though, basketball is my favorite sport. I love playing it. We just got a basketball hoop at work, so on my lunch breaks, I don't even eat lunch most of the time. I just go outside and I play basketball. So anywhere there's a hoop, you'll catch me playing. You'll catch me shooting some hoops. Obviously, if you can see from my hat, I'm a Golden State Warriors fan. Not high school basketball, but it's pro basketball. That's what I follow the closest. I'm a big Warriors fan. Obviously, we came short this year, but we'll get them next year. But yeah, I never played on a team, but I love to play in my free time and for fun. Tomorrow is the world premiere of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny at the Cannes Film Festival. Do you think it will live up to the hype? I'm very excited and nervous for this movie simultaneously. It is one of my most anticipated movies of the summer. I love James Mangold as a director, but I also don't trust Lucasfilm. Kathleen Kennedy and just what they're doing over there with Star Wars and their track record over the past few years. So I'm hoping that James Mangold brings a vision to the franchise that sort of rejuvenates it, but also sends it off in a worthy fashion. The thing that worries me the most is that with all the marketing, while there's a sense of wonder and nostalgia with every trailer that we get, it also seems like there's an over-reliance on CGI, and that is the exact thing that kind of took me out of enjoying Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, is they sort of went into a fantastical realm that I felt like overstepped the bounds of what an Indiana Jones movie should be. Especially now considering that Harrison Ford is 80 something years old. I don't find it realistic that he'd be riding a horse down a train track or going on a car chase where he's hopping across vehicles or jumping out of an airplane without a parachute on. So as much as I want to love the movie, and I hope it's great, I really do, I hope it's great, it does worry me a bit. I didn't realize that it was premiering tomorrow. I'd be curious to see what the response is for the film, if they're able to give reactions after they see it, because I definitely think that will gauge the reception to the movie overall. Obviously, when people see movies very early, there's a tendency to have a bit of hyperbole, a lot of overboard reactions, but I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping to gauge and get an idea of what to expect with the movie, even though I always go into these movies with an open mind and let the story take me where it wants to. But yeah, obviously, this is one of my favorite franchises of all time, so I hope it lands the plane successfully. I hope it's a successful send off, but there are things that worry me a bit. But I don't think we've gotten enough yet to really, truly get an idea of how it's going to be. The only Fast and Furious movies I liked were The Fast and the Furious 2001, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast 5, and Fast and Furious 6. Screw the rest. Yeah, this movie or this franchise is very hit or miss for me too. I like the original. I think Too Fast, Too Furious is fun. Um, Fast and Furious 6 is okay. My favorite is actually Furious 7, and I think that's where they should have ended it. Paul Walker tragically passed away. They had to finish the movie without him, and then they do this just beautiful send off at the end to where you see both characters meet at the road divide. They kind of give each other a nod, like accepting that they're going their separate ways, and then they drive off into the sunset. Why do you need to continue it after that? You ended on a perfect note. Then we got Fate of the Furious, then F9. Now we're getting F10, and it's going to be a trilogy to end this franchise. It's just too much. It's just too much. I can only handle so much nonsensical action before my brain starts to hurt. So I can't blame you for that, really. I think the franchise has far overstayed its welcome, and it's kind of just if I were to do a video or have a discussion on movies that should have never gotten a sequel, as much as I do enjoy some of the Fast and Furious sequels, the Fast and the Furious did not have to turn into a franchise. It they stole DVD players. Dom was working in a gas station making sandwiches. How did it turn into a cross the world global witch hunt spy espionage thriller where they're defying all the laws of physics, flying cars into space? It's just ridiculous. My head hurts just thinking about it. So I can't blame you there. Scott Davis said, I'm so worried about Indy 5. Yeah, just like I said, I'm hopeful, but I'm definitely worried too. But then again, James Mangold, he is got a perfect record up to this point in my book. So I'm hoping he continues the hot streak and that we're both surprised. Have you heard about me asking the question about Taco Bell making a movie? I don't know if I've heard that question. That reminds me of what Sean Chandler does, because if you follow Sean Chandler, he does that thing to where he talks about a movie that's sort of cheesy. Like Fast and the Furious is a great example. I think F9, when it came out, he categorized it as a Taco Bell movie. A movie that it's not good for you. It doesn't have a lot to offer, but what it is, even though it's superficial and over the top and kind of ridiculous, you still enjoy it. I think that's a great way to gauge a movie like that. But in terms of what you're talking about Taco Bell making a movie, aside from the commercials I see like before movies play in the theater, I'm not sure I know what you're talking about. Care to elaborate? What's your favorite sport? Basketball. 100% basketball. Followed closely by baseball. I also enjoy watching football. And hot take, I like golf. I like watching golf. I like falling asleep to golf. And I like playing golf sometimes. Most of the time I hate it, actually. I don't know why I said that. I hate playing golf. Not because it's a bad sport to play, but because I suck. It's definitely, if people talk about what is the hardest sport in the world, they make arguments for basketball and baseball and all this stuff. I think it's golf. Just because you are in control of the outcome 100% of the way. And it's a mental game through and through. And if you make one bad move, it can screw up the rest of the day for you. So, yeah, golf is underrated, also very frustrating. Ben Affleck is one of the best directors, actors working today. Currently, yes, 100%. He doesn't release movies. He doesn't release movies directed by him at a high volume, and I think that's why he still sort of goes under the radar as a director. But when it comes to acting, yeah, of course, he's been a big mainstay when it comes to blockbusters recently, playing Batman, but also when he ventures more into the indie roles, he's also very successful with that. Um, the Way Back, directed by Gavin O'Connor, one of my favorite movies in the past few years. A great sort of introspective look at not only the character he's playing, but also an idea of what he was going through in real life. The Last Duel, which was severely underseen. The movie he did with or not Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Adam Driver, directed by Ridley Scott. It was a solid movie, and he gave a really good performance. Same with Air. Not only did he direct it, he also had a role in it. And yeah, I think he's very talented. And I know he came out with a new movie recently, directed by Robert Rodriguez, Hypnotic. I barely heard anything about that movie in terms of marketing, and from what I saw, the reviews were not too great about it. I might check it out at some point, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's great. It doesn't seem like an example of how good of an actor Ben Affleck is. But even in some of his bad stuff, he still gives a good performance. So yeah, I would say he's definitely one of the better ones working today. Movie talk. Hey, 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 thank you for stopping by. Been a long time. Yes, it has. I don't know if you remember me at all, but I came to say hi. Of course, I remember you, and thank you so much for stopping by. What is the best film performance ever made? That's a tough question. um, I have conversations like this with some of my buddies often. Like, what are your favorite performances? Who are your favorite actors? It's hard to really gauge a number one pick. Um, I'll throw out a few. I think Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler is incredible. I think Jack Nicholson in The Shining is definitely one of the best. Um, man, there's a lot of them out there. It's hard to pinpoint one. Anything Daniel Day-Lewis is, I would say his performance in There Will Be Blood was nuanced and haunting all at the same time. Man, yeah, I keep saying man. That's what I say when you've stumped me. I don't know. There's a few picks for you, but that's a very hard question to answer. Alex asks, are you excited for Chris Stuckman's Shelby Oaks? Of course I am. I'm very excited for that movie. Um, just for what it means. It's a huge milestone. I've been watching Chris Stuckman review movies since I was a little kid, maybe 6 or 7 years old. And he came from very humble beginnings. Obviously, he had a very rough past. He was able to work himself up and work his way up in his career and in the YouTube space and really make a name for himself on the platform. And he became one of the more trusted critics and somebody who really proved that YouTube criticism, online video criticism can be a legit thing. And he succeeded in that. And the fact that he's now moving on to bigger and better things and going beyond just critiquing movies and actually getting behind the camera and making them is extremely impressive. Also, the fact that he was able to get the cast that he was for his first ever movie is very great. And the majority of the movie was crowdfunded too, which is absolutely insane. Um, yeah, there's a lot to be excited for. I'm very curious to see how it turns out. Um, and whenever I'm able to see it, I'll check it out as soon as I possibly can because I got to show my support for it. It's just a very cool milestone, very cool thing that he was able to accomplish, and an inspiring thing, especially not just for me, but any aspiring filmmaker out there who wants to make a short film or wants to make a feature length film that's only doing YouTube videos right now. It gives them hope too. So it breaks a lot of barriers. It's a very monumental thing, not only for his career, but for all the people that have watched him for all these years. So it's a very cool, very, very cool thing. Sorry, guys, I had to cough there. My throat gets dry talking for this long. Dimension Scott says, "Are you interested in the new Boogeyman movie?" Again, yeah, I put this on my most anticipated of the summer too. This is definitely one that I'm looking forward to a lot. Not only because it's a Stephen King adaptation, but just from the trailers and the marketing alone, it seems to be pretty eerie, pretty unsettling. And while it's a studio horror movie, 20th Century Fox has a decent track record, and the fact that it's diving into sort of themes of family trauma and grief and all of that stuff really kind of piques my interest, because that's one of the subgenres of horror that I'm most interested in, that I'm most invested in, and that the biggest fan of. Hereditary is one of my all-time favorite horror movies, and a big reason for that is the family trauma that it dives into. So depending on how it can execute it, I I really hope it does well. I do. I'm excited for it. I should be getting a screening invite pretty soon because I think it comes out. When does it come out? Does it come out June 6th? The Boogeyman. June 2nd. Yeah, so it's even sooner than I thought. So I should be getting a screening invite hopefully for that very soon. I'll definitely have a review for the channel. But yeah, I'm super excited for it. Another thing about it that gets me excited is Rob Savage is directing it, which he previously did Dashcam and Host, which were two like COVID era pandemic movies, all filmed primarily through the use of other devices or technology or computer screens, and with fairly small runtimes. But he was able to do a lot very effectively with what he was given. So given the studio setting and a bigger budget and more to play around with, I think he has a lot of potential to be a pretty good horror director if he keeps at it. So yeah. Are you a Nintendo or Mario fan? Yes, to both. Like I said, I've got a Nintendo Switch, so I like to play a lot of the classic games. It just, anytime I play anything that's Nintendo, it gives me an automatic feel of nostalgia. Like I feel like a little kid again. My first console I ever got was a Wii, which I know it's not that old. I think the Wii is like, what, 12, 13, 14 years old? But that was my first console, and immediately I got immersed into the world of Super Mario and all that stuff. So I'm a big fan of that. I love the Super Mario movie for all of those reasons, just the blast of nostalgia it provided. So yeah, I'm a fairly big Nintendo fan. For not being a super huge gamer, I appreciate Nintendo and the brand as a whole. Darkroom Reviews, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Name some of your favorite DC films besides James Gunn's Suicide Squad. LOL. That's one of my top picks, but DC, so I guess that doesn't just include the DCEU. While I will say Man of Steel is up there, Zack Snyder's Justice League is up there, Batman vs. Superman is another one that I think is severely underrated and one that I really, really like. Outside of the DCEU, the Dark Knight trilogy, all of those movies are great. I think The Watchmen is pretty good as well, another Zack Snyder movie. DC Joker. Joker's incredible. It just so good. So good. Not even because it's got a lot of connective tissue to the DC universe and because it's trying to be a big superhero movie, but because it's grounded and it tells a realistic story about a man slowly going insane and reaching a point of madness. So those are a few. I could think of some more, I'm sure. I feel like I'm blanking on a lot. What is there? DC movies, DC movies. That's what I'd have to go for or go with for now. Of course, the Christopher Reeve Superman movies are also essential. I don't think without the original Superman movie with Christopher Reeves, we would have as many superhero movies as we have today. Not just DC movies, but superhero movies in general. So that one's up there too. Yeah, there's a lot of other ones that I like. But the Suicide Squad is high up there. What do you think of the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 trailer? Do you think it will be the best action movie of the year? Best action movie of the year? Man, that's kind of hard to say. There's another movie on the horizon that I'm kind of curious to see how It will play the creator, starring John David Washington, directed by Gareth Edwards. That trailer came out today as well. That's one that's flying very much under the radar, but I've heard some good things from other people. But it's Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise has a tendency to push it over the limit, go pretty wild with things, go big, go bold. So it's possible. I'll just say that it's possible. What did I think about the trailer? I thought it was okay. I thought the trailer was okay. I will say I didn't see the new trailer. I've only seen the first trailer. I don't want to see anymore. I kind of want to go into the movie fresh. And in terms of the first trailer, I felt like it didn't really give us a lot to work with just because it did come out when they were very early in production for the movie. But from what I saw, it was enough to get me excited. There's some good chases in there. There's some good thrilling aspects in there. Things are really starting to come to a head. You can tell this is about to be some grand finale to the franchise. But I'm very excited for it. Mission Impossible seems to be one of those franchises that gets better with every installation. So I have nothing but high hopes for this movie. Yeah, I hope it's the best. I hope it's great. Let's see here. Got a lot of questions to answer. My goodness, thank you guys so much. I'm going to the Tribeca Film Festival next month for the New York premieres of Pixar's Elemental. Pixar has been hit or miss these past couple of years. Hopefully this is a win for Pixar. That's awesome. That's a really cool film festival to go to. Elementals, that trailer looks really cool. And I'm hoping they get back on the right track as well, because Lightyear was definitely sort of off for me. There were aspects that I liked, but overall it just felt sort of lukewarm. Turning Red, I thought ultimately did things well, but it wasn't a movie targeted for me, so it didn't have the same appeal for me. Luca, I wasn't a huge fan of either. I think the last Pixar movie that I really enjoyed was Onward. Yeah, I would have to say Onward. So I'm definitely hoping as well that they get back on the right track. I'm going to just go ahead and press my camera now so it doesn't turn off later. But yeah, that's very cool that you get to go and see it early. Let me know what you think about the movie. I'm excited to check it out as well. And like you said, I hope it's a win for Pixar. I wish nothing but the best for Pixar. Still, in my opinion, the best animated studio out today. That's just what happens when a studio is so focused on going so far outside the box that not all the time is it going to hit with everyone, but that's okay. Not every movie has to work for everybody. And so while the last few movies of theirs haven't been necessarily my cup of tea, I still appreciate them for what they're doing as a whole. Bernardo says, I had an amazing time at South by Southwest. It'll be my first at Fantastic Fest. Yeah, it would be so cool we finally meet in person and watch movies together. LOL. That would be awesome. I saw and I kept up to date with your logs as you went to South by Southwest and all the pictures you posted. It definitely looked like you had a lot of fun. That's definitely one that I have on my radar, a festival that I want to attend eventually. It's just a matter of time, whether I get in as press or if I pay for my ticket to get in. I'm going to do it one day. I feel like it's necessary for me. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I feel like that's my next taste of the film industry, the next taste of the film world that I'm trying to dive deeper into. So being in that environment with a bunch of people who just love movies, getting to watch them early and just discuss them, that would be awesome. Network 98 says, Cody Leach and I are from the same state. Same with Chris from Filmstock. Yep, same with me. We all live in Georgia. Me and Chris live closer to the Atlanta area. I feel like Cody lives a lot further south. But yeah, we're all repping Georgia. The Peach State, baby. And I agree about TASM too. Not my favorite like you, but I like it a lot. There we go. You're smart human. I appreciate that. You don't have to love it, think it's the best, but the fact that you even like it a little bit, it's refreshing. It feels good. Oh, I remember that live stream of that Spider-Man ranking, and I was outraged. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that ranking. Now that I look back at it, I think I would have to adjust a lot of my picks. Yeah, but like when it comes to the Amazing Spider-Man 2, it is still my favorite. It depends on where Across the Spider-Verse lands for me, but as of right now, when I release another Spider-Man ranking, it's probably still going to be at the top. As controversial as that is. That's just how it is, my friend. It's how it is. I really like TASM 2 better than 1. It's not a bad film as what people seem to think about. Yeah, I would agree. I like it better than the first one too. I love The Amazing Spider-Man. I don't think it's perfect. I think it has a lot of issues, and it's sort of mid-tier in my ranking of the Spider-Man movies, but I still enjoy it. Andrew Garfield is my favorite Spider-Man, so anything with him in it as the character, I'm going to enjoy. I just think TASM 2 did what The Amazing Spider-Man did, but even better, it expanded on it more. I'm just sad that we didn't get The Amazing Spider-Man 3, because that would have been awesome. My hot take is Halloween Ends wrapped up the trilogy satisfyingly. I agree. That's another hot take. I really enjoyed that movie. Halloween Ends, I had a blast with. I thought it was great that they switched it up and that they went in a different direction and took sort of like a Christine route. Like if you look at the main character of Corey Cunningham and Michael and how he sort of lurks in the shadows, but he's sort of influencing Corey to do these things and almost possesses him in a way. It feels like Christine, John Carpenter's Christine. Take that as you will. It's very different from the previous two movies, especially in the David Gordon Green film verse, but I think that's what it needed because Halloween Kills was definitely not my cup of tea. Evil Dies Tonight. I wanted to die that night that I saw that movie. But it was a nice change of pace. I think it concluded in a very satisfying way. So I agree with that take. What is your all-time favorite movie, car, truck, vehicle? So I think my top two would have to be the DeLorean from the Back to the Future, which is essential, and also the Aston Martin from James Bond. You've got one that's just very kind of nerdy. Obviously, time travel's involved. It was a cool car for the time it came out. Now, if somebody was driving that around, I don't know that it'd have the same appeal, but I've seen a couple DeLoreans on the road, and even though it's not like the flashiest thing in the world, I still think of Back to the Future every time I see it. So when a car is so heavily associated with a specific property, that's very impressive. And then the Aston Martin, it just breathes elegance and suaveness and just cool. James Bond and an Aston Martin, perfect pairing. Those are definitely my top two. Trainer Silver. It's been a long time. Watched you since 2020 during the days where you, Film Stocked, and Certain Vids did those daily streams. Hope you and the others are doing well. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you coming by, showing your support. I appreciate you supporting us for so long. Not just me, but Film Stock, Certain Vids, which I need to reach out to Certain Vids. I haven't talked to him in a while. Certain was a very close friend of mine. We did a lot of collabs together. But it's been a while. But yeah, 2020 was a fun time. There wasn't a lot coming out. The world was kind of shut down. So a lot of us just sort of joined together and we did a lot of live streams. We did a lot of watch alongs and video collaborations and all that stuff. As tough as a time as that was for most of the world, we tried to make the best of it. We had a lot of fun. That's where we really built a lot of good, meaningful relationships. And so I'm thankful for that period of time, as tough as it was in a lot of ways. Cometa, rank your top 10 MCU characters. I don't know if I can rank top 10, but I can rank top 5 if that works. So I would have to say number 5. Number 5. Can I do 5? You know what? Yeah, I'll do 5. Number 5, I would have to go with Scarlet Witch. I think she's had a very interesting and unique character arc throughout the universe. Kind of starting as a villain, then turning into a hero, then ultimately becoming the villain of her own story in WandaVision and carrying over into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. She's just got a lot of depth as a character and a lot of different things that you can work with her as a character. Um, then I would have to go with Doctor Strange. I think Doctor Strange is pretty underrated, still to this day, but he has enough charm and charisma along with super cool powers. He's like a magical version of Tony Stark. If Tony Stark wasn't just a guy with a lot of money who could build a lot of cool technology, but he had superpowers instead, that's what I see as Doctor Strange. Then I would have to go with Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero, and overall, I just like the way that he fits into the MCU. While I don't like all of his appearances for the most part, I think he fits the universe very well. His charisma, his charm outweighs most of the negativity I can have towards his character. Especially after No Way Home, he's really starting to come into his own, and I think he has the potential to lead the Avengers in the future of the MCU. My runner-up would probably be Captain America, Steve Rogers, Captain America. I'm hoping Bucky can come up there at some point soon. Just need to see a little bit more from him, but he's somebody who has values, who holds true to those values. He's a conflicted character at times. He's got morals that, for the most part, are right, but at times go against right and wrong, or go against the idea of being right for doing what he can to help his friends out, especially in like Civil War. But I think he's one of the most expanded on and most developed characters in the MCU. I also think he had a perfect conclusion as a character. But my number one has to be Tony Stark, the one that started it all and really ended the saga, ended that phase of the universe. Somebody who started off as a billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, hard word to say fast, who over time, he didn't really care about anybody but himself to begin with. But over time, his heart began to soften, and he started to realize the value in putting more importance in other people and fighting for something greater than himself. And by the end, when he made the ultimate sacrifice, I think it was just a great ending to his arc. So that would have to be my ranking. Thank you. You're asking me these questions that really make me think. What's my favorite movie? I don't want to leave you on the cliffhanger here, but I'm not going to spoil it. So my birthday's coming up, June 28th, and I plan to have a video talking about my top 20 favorite movies of all time on my birthday. So I don't want to spoil it yet. Sorry to leave you hanging there. Okay, I'm going to answer just a few more questions, and then I'm going to hop off here because it is almost 11 o'clock my time. Still got to get some shut-eye, get up for work in the morning. But thank you guys so much for everybody who stuck around. I really appreciate it. Also, Bernardo says, gotta go, have a good night. Have a good night, my friend. Thank you so much for stopping by. As always, I'll talk to you soon. Jennifer Vega is in here. Hey, Jaren, how are you? I'm good, Jennifer. Thank you so much for stopping by. How are you? I hope you're doing well. It's been a while. Speaking of Walter White Funko Pop, I'm just watching Breaking Bad for the first time. Just finished season 2. So good. Just wait till you get to about season 3, season 4. I think season 3 may be my favorite season for a lot of different reasons, but yeah, the ending of season 2 is crazy, and it segues into the next one very, very well. Obviously, don't want to give any spoilers, but I'm glad you're watching that show. I'm glad you're having a good time with it. Let's see. I'm currently about to finish season 3 of Breaking Bad. How are you liking it? Because like I said, I'm a big fan of it. I think it's potentially my favorite one, especially when it comes to the character of Jesse. I love the characterization for him in that season, the fleshing it out of him. You get a lot more depth with his character there. Another hot topic, Black Panther and Guardians 1 are overrated because Black Panther has mediocre pacing, Guardians 1 has nice music, but I don't find it that funny or epic. Black Panther I can get behind to an extent. I do think the pacing is a little bit all over the place, and when it comes to the CGI, I think there's an overwhelming use of it, and it sticks out like a sore thumb at times. Guardians 1, man, what are you talking about? Are you just trying to hurt my feelings? You're trying to poke the bear. I get what you're doing here. I'm kidding. I respect your opinion, obviously, but you don't think it's that funny or epic. I'd be curious to know why. That's an interesting take. I respect it. I respect it. Right after tomorrow, Indiana Jones premiered. Rotten Tomatoes score and Letterboxd ratings will be open. Awesome. Like I said, I'm curious to see where that gauges, where the opening crowd kind of sits with the movie, where they stand, where they sit, where they stand. Which is it, Jaren? Where they hop up and down, you know? But yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Yeah, if they stopped at 7, it would have been a good end note. I'm guessing you're talking about the Fast and the Furious franchise? Absolutely. It was written in the stars. They should have just ended it there. It would have been perfect. Let's see. Any idea how I can find roles to become an actor or an extra at first? I've never been an actor in anything, nor have I been an extra, but I will say living in Atlanta, I get a lot of emails about being extras in a lot of kind of big Hollywood movies in Atlanta. I will say just look up how to become an extra in whatever city you live in and see what pops up. Just Google it and see, because a lot of times there are surveys you can fill out, there are forms that you can fill out, there are websites to go to sort of register yourself as somebody that they can call or reach out to by email. Obviously, I don't have a ton of experience with it because I've never done it before, but that's just a little bit of what I picked up on. I have a couple family members who are into it as well, and I think that's just sort of what they did. They reached out to wherever they could around their area, or they just kept a lookout for anybody or any film production looking for extras. You can find that all over social media. Sometimes they'll have ads for it, and you just apply when you come across anything you can. That's about the extent of the advice I can give you there. Are you excited for Spider-Verse 2? Absolutely. My most anticipated movie of the summer. Into the Spider-Verse is one of my favorite animated movies, so this one seems to be almost promising to be even bigger than that. So if it can be somehow, that would be incredible. But all I'm looking for it to be is at least as good as the previous one. But Lord and Miller, I trust them. I love the animation style. Metro Boomin, if you know anything about hip hop, is producing the soundtrack for the movie. He's the best producer in hip hop working today. Obviously, you're getting a bigger peek into the multiverse. You're seeing a lot more versions of Spider-Man, which is going to be very exciting. I'm just curious to see where the story goes, especially considering this is part one of a two-part event. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for that movie. Let's see here. Let me see. My cousin told me about your channel because his cousin told him, I think. That's cool. That's very, very cool. Going down the family tree, I see. Well, I appreciate you checking out my channel and supporting it and asking all these questions. It really does mean the world. And thank you to your cousin and their cousin, too. That's very, very cool. Coy Capellan is in here. What's up, man? Thank you so much for stopping by. It's been a long time. I hope you're doing well as well. The setup is looking dope. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We need to link up soon. We need to talk soon. Something like that. It's been too long. Like I said, I hope you're doing very, very well. Thank you for stopping by. That's so cool. I appreciate it. Let's see. Their cousin is Colin? Colin Williams? I don't know. Let me see. 123 Rock Fan, thank you so much for stopping by. He says, do you like movies with elaborate movie credits or just simple credits? Sometimes I think simple is more effective. Now, are you talking about the end credit scene, the mid credit scene? By credits, I mean the design of them. Oh, okay. So I like it more simple. Really, it doesn't matter to me. I think the credits are mainly just a showcase of all the talent and the workers that went or that were involved in the production of a film. So as long as it highlights all of them and that they all get the credit that's due, that's fine by me. Typically, when I'm done watching a movie in the theater, I like to sit there and I like to watch the credits as they scroll, just to kind of appreciate all the people that worked very hard on the movies that I love. It's they're underappreciated. A lot of times we just look at the final product and we critique it from that, but we don't even consider all of the time and the work and the effort that went into making those movies that we're critiquing. So, yeah, it's definitely cool to look and see who all was involved in making the movies. Coy says, still rocking the Warriors hat as always. Yeah, we took a fat L, but still got to rep the Bay, still got to rep the team. Got the shirt on too. Warriors for life. Ride or die. As heartbreaking as it can be sometimes. Jordan Poole putting up a fat goose egg. Klay Thompson scoring 8 points in the final game. Absolutely absurd, embarrassing performance. But we'll be back next year. Mark my words. Okay. So, before I get out, I did want to talk about a few titles that were sent to me from Warner Brothers. A few of these are older titles that I think in the transition when I was moving just kind of got lost, so it took a while before I actually received them. I've also got a few new releases here as well, so I just kind of want to showcase those for you guys really quick, let you know where you can find them, all that stuff, and then we're going to be out of here. So, let me get these situated. So first I'm going to start off with the Christmas titles. I've got 4 Christmas titles here on 4K, which a lot of you guys may have these already. I was definitely late to the party on these, but I got a Christmas Story on 4K, which is pretty cool. And then I've got Christmas Vacation on 4K, which is also pretty cool. The Polar Express, an animated classic that I don't know how you guys feel about these or about this movie. Sort of freaks me out. Sort of makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside all at the same time. It's a weird feeling. It's a weird range of emotions, but it's good to have this on 4K. And then Elf, a classic. One of my favorite movies of all time. Not just Christmas movies, but definitely one of the best Christmas movies of all time. Thank you, Warner Brothers, obviously, for sending all of these over. You guys can get these pretty much anywhere that you can buy physical media right now. They're on Amazon, they're at Best Buy, they're at Walmart. You might have a better chance getting these online at this point just because it is out of season. It's not Christmas anymore. I thought that was funny that I got these now when it's almost summertime, but better late than never. Then, also, I want to show this off. It's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Did I mess that up? It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's my Sylvester Stallone impression. 1 out of 10, it's a -5. I got the Rocky collection on 4K. The Rocky Knockout collection. This has got the first 4 movies. No love for 5. I wonder why. Because it sucks. But this is also out in stores already. So if you want to pick this up, you definitely can. An awesome upgrade over the Blu-ray set. Comes with some special features, mainly on the Blu-ray disc, but this is definitely, for any Rocky fan, a must-have for the collection. Then, a couple days ago, I got the Superman collection on 4K. This contains 5 4K movies. It's got Superman, the original one, Superman 2, Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, Superman 3, and Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. The greatest movie of all time. Just, it's the best movie of all time. So, this movie, or this collection, is also, I think it came out last Tuesday, so you can also pick this up in stores as well. Great stuff here. And then 2 newer releases. Here, let me pull this up so I know exactly when they release, so I can give you guys the right information. First off, okay. First off, we got Creed 3 in 4K, a movie that I really, really loved in theaters, and I'm excited to check out in 4K. Just got this today in the mail. This comes out in stores everywhere May 23rd. There's going to be a lot of different editions of it. There's the DVD, the Blu-ray, there's the 4K, but then there's also a 4K Steelbook. This is the 4K slipcover version. So be on the lookout for this if you were a fan of this movie or if you're just a fan of this franchise. And then lastly, let me pull this one up just so I get the right date again. Shazam! Fury of the Gods also comes out May 23rd. I haven't seen this movie yet. I missed it in theaters. This is one that was getting a lot of hate, a lot of controversial opinions on this movie, but I am a fan of the first one, so I'm definitely going to be checking this one out soon. I'll let you guys know my thoughts on this one, but coming out on glorious 4K with the sort of a golden shiny slipcover. It's got the Warner Brothers 100 years celebration thing in the top left-hand corner, which is very unique. Overall, I kind of like the design of it, but it will be out in just, I think, next week. Yeah, it'll be out next week. So be on the lookout for those titles. I just kind of wanted to show you guys that, give you a little bit of an update before I log off of here, because I haven't done a Blu-ray update in a little bit, and Warner Brothers was kind enough to send this stuff over to me for showing you guys to add to my collection for review purposes and all that jazz. So there you go. If there's any of those titles there that interest you at all, make sure to go check them out. But with that being said, I've been streaming for an hour and 16 minutes and my throat is about to give out. So thank you guys, as always, for stopping by. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. And like I said, let me know in the comments if you want me to continue to do these live streams. I'll try to do them a little bit more often. But yeah, I'm about to log off here. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week. And until next time, I'll see you.